Hello everyone, this is Shama with Girls and Geese. We are back for yet another Ask a Black Belt segment. We have an incredible instructor as well as a competitor on here today, Chelsah Lyons. If you haven't heard about her, then I don't know where you've been. She's been tearing up the scene for quite some time now. She owns her own academy. We're really excited to have her on today. And looks like we have Chelsah on here. We can't see your picture quite
I
yet.
can't see you either. Let me see.
It's just a black screen. Oh, there we go.
What's up?
Yay! Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you
Yeah, thanks
doing?
for having me. I'm good. I'm good. How are you guys?
Uh,
How's Hawaii? How's Hawaii?
we just got out of quarantine for the second round, so yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to be out of quarantine jail and lockdown.
Yeah.
So back to normal. The beaches are open, the parks are open. So
Ooh, nice.
yeah. So I I'll go over it again for everybody. But if you guys have not tuned in for an Ask a Black Belt session, how this works is you just comment your questions in the comments, and yes, down below, and we will go ahead and Chelsah will answer them live. If you don't have any questions, then hey, we're just gonna have a nice conversation here, and you guys get to tune in. So tell us a little bit. I know you have a pretty long background in martial arts, and then you transitioned to jujitsu. Tell us a little bit. How did you even get into martial arts? What led you to want to do martial arts?
So a couple of things. I had done karate, as most of us do when we're younger, right? I did Shotokan when I was younger, maybe 8 to 12. And so I kind of had that want to do it continuously, but as a teenager, I'm like, I'm going to go do other things in life. And then I saw Gina Carano and Caitlin Young fight. And I believe that was like one of the first female MMA fighters or fights that they had aired on TV. And so initially I was like, okay, I think when a cage fight, like I'm probably going to be in love with Muay Thai, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I kept thinking about it, kept talking about it. And then I had a situation arise again where I got held at gunpoint.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's a big motivator, turns out.
Yeah.
So two things. I was like, okay, one, I'm going to quit talking about what I want to do in life and just start doing it, because who knows if we'll be here tomorrow, which I'm sure a lot of us are feeling that after everything that's been happening now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing was, okay, maybe if somebody wants something more than my cheap purse, then they're at least then they're at least that I'm not willing to give up, obviously, right? Then they're at least going to have a fight on their hands. And these days I feel pretty confident about it. Of course, I would handle that situation the same way, either way, with a weapon and such. But it's funny how once you start training, it's almost like you become less of a target. Maybe the way we carry ourselves, I don't know, but I haven't had any issues arise since then. Maybe the biceps, I don't know. So that's kind of how I got into it. I walked into a gym. I was working at a dry cleaners. There were a lot of dusty flyers on this like one wall. And I looked over and I was like, oh, there's an MMA flyer. Like this had just happened maybe 2 weeks before. I'm like, okay, I can sit here and be angry in life, or again, I'll start doing what I want to do. So I took that flyer. It was pretty close to where I was working. I walked in and I was like, hey, I want to fight. And they were like, of course you can fight. Because, I'm sure now being a gym owner, I realize a lot of people come in and they're like, yo, I want to do this. And you're like, okay, well, let's try a class. Okay. So I took one class. I was doing Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and Judo. And I was like very set on Muay Thai, right? Like I wanted to kick, I wanted to punch. And a situation happened there, actually, which was not the best situation. And I got put in a position where I couldn't get up off the ground. So by somebody much larger, much stronger. And this is me at an age where I'm like, I can handle anything, right? I've been held at gunpoint. I've been in like street fight, school fight, whatever. Like you walk around with this knowing like I've been through it, right?
Yeah, you guys a little chill.
Yeah, like life's harder than this, right? Until the moment where I realized I was like, man, I cannot move my hands, my arms, my legs. I can't move anything. And this guy was very threatening in that situation. I don't want to take this interview down. Real life situation, they were like making like sexual advances. And I'm like, oh, I had a moment where I'm like, man, like I came here to learn to not deal with that, right? So I used my voice and it happened to work because nothing else in my body was. And I left for like a month. I left for a month, the one thing that I thought was going to help me in life, right? And like within that time, and I realize now that when students don't show up, you're like, hey, where are they at? So you reach out to them, right? So my jiu-jitsu coach reached out to me. And I don't know, like I guess you ball something up so long that you finally go, here's what happened.
Yeah.
Right? And I told him, and he was like, oh, that's like, I'm sorry that happened to you, of course, right? And he's like, you need jiu-jitsu now more than anybody. Like,
yeah.
Because I told him exactly what happened. Like, I could not move. I've never experienced that. And, I mean, I've said it 1,000 times. That moment I realized, like, I had not been fighting in life. I had been surviving, right? Thinking I could fight. Because you have the will inside, you think you have the abilities until you are held down by experienced people.
Yep.
So I came back. I actually worked a similar position in like being held down, getting out of it. I started building confidence. And I was like, oh, jiu-jitsu, like you are everything. Like, you know, I felt that safety and that like awareness. And it also was such a realization, like I have a long way to go. And I love many martial arts, but I'm going to put my time into this. And it wasn't just for self-defense. It was also because I'm like, it's so cerebral. I was like, oh, this is challenging. And I still feel that way about her. I'm constantly chasing her everywhere. So
no, I feel the same way. Yeah.
I followed my jiu-jitsu coach out of that school because I didn't feel, you know, safe there anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of people had an issue. So some people stayed, some people we followed. And then I competed once against guys, because that's all there was. You know, you were there.
Yep.
at that point in life. And I fell in love with all of it. And I was like, wait a minute, you can do this till you like are no longer alive. Like, sign me up. Whatever you say, jiu-jitsu, I will follow you. So, and that's kind of just, jiu-jitsu's been my main focal point. I will still train Muay Thai. I love judo, but my body does not. So, and I feel like just the more you're competing, like you have to focus on what you're competing in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I really like got into martial arts. That was about 10 years ago. And it's so strange. That is my entire life now.
No, it's enticing. It takes us in and takes over very easily. And,
yeah.
You know, and you're not alone. That is unfortunately a very common story for women who go in and try something and in academies or gyms and get into these kind of uncomfortable, inappropriate situations. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that you came back, because unfortunately a lot of them just kind of walk out and then that's it, you know. And
well, I'm very fiery, so I didn't feel like, everybody has different process and feelings. I was so pissed off. I was like,
yep.
I came here for a reason, and really I just wanted to destroy that person. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to do that, I must train. So there's something in you. And I don't like to separate female and males. I don't like to, because I think we all need each other to be better in life, but especially in jiu-jitsu. Like, it includes everybody. And so I think I was pissed off in that moment too, because I'm like, why are you separating this line? Like, I came here to learn like everybody else. So but I like to share that. I don't want it to be like my flag, you know,
No.
but it's a very real thing. And I think if you share that with other people, then they can relate, you know?
Exactly. And it's important. I mean, that's what we're all about is, you know, we're not alone. And unfortunately, this does happen to a lot of women. And our journeys are different, but there's so many similarities and
Yeah.
for a lot of us. So we got her a couple of questions.
Yeah, I see them flying by.
So what is your signature move? A couple of people had asked that.
The one that gets someone to tap. Right? I mean,
Yeah,
I like submissions. I am a finisher. Or I like to think I am a finisher, yes. But honestly, I have a small obsession with like X guard, single leg X. I love dirty leg locks and dirty wrist locks. Like, I'm all about it. Passing as much as guard. It's so hard. It's like, what's your signature move? And it's like, I wish I knew. Because then I would have something cool to say. But movement, I think I don't really hear about that much as a signature move in jiu-jitsu. I think that's me, like my motion, my movement, my want to not stop, my want to pass, my want to get to the next position and like set up transitions. I want to feel like I'm surfing like in movement and just, yeah, I get chills. I don't know why. If I had a signature move, it's movement, right? It's just, don't stop me from moving. And I don't have to like smash through things, but I like to know that I have that smash capability with movement.
That's important.
Oh my God, it's so good. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm still discovering what is my signature move, because every time I think I know something, jiu-jitsu's like, okay, well that's cute, but also this. And you're like, oh, yeah. I'm always chasing you. So yeah, I like submissions. I like whatever gets the tap, and I like fluid movements between that. So.
Absolutely. And I think as our journeys go on, it changes. That's what keeps us interested in it, right?
Yeah. Yes. That's why I think I'm like, okay, jiu-jitsu, you took over my life. I literally base my entire like schedule, my lack of seeing friends and family, sorry guys, and everything around how can I get to jiu-jitsu? How can I share jiu-jitsu? How can I convince my one friend who I've had in life forever that won't try it because we're sweaty, that she loves it too, or he loves it too, and just share that feeling, you know, just constantly. Thanks, jiu-jitsu. You're like, people call it an obsession, and you're like, guys, it's deep. It's pretty deep.
It's in the core.
Yeah, we're not coming out. Sorry.
So in your movement, somebody asked, have you ever broken any bones? I guess.
Oh my goodness. This finger, I'm married to jiu-jitsu, okay? Literally, because this finger went that way. And
oh my gosh.
These jiu-jitsu hands. And because my adrenaline was pumping, it was tapping on top of this finger. So I think that was the most freaky thing, but it didn't break. It dislocated. And we have good people in jiu-jitsu, you know, it brings everybody. So a medical physical therapist, who I call my friend, he was like, yeah, let me slide that right back in for you. And I was like, you're good. I have popped things. I have dislocated things. I think I went to Worlds last year with like 3 ribs out of place. Like, I didn't know. I just thought I was sore because we were comp training. I'm lifting too many weights, which I probably didn't need. And turns out like articulated ribs, toes that was like, why are you separating from the other toes? And yeah, I mean, it's so weird how you go through so many injuries, you forget what all's happened to you. And I've had my knee, like, and it's never a cool story. It's always something stupid. I had my knee like wrenched the wrong way, and it popped a month before Kasai.
Oh my god!
So that was, yeah, and not by someone cool, because then I would have been like, it's all right. But you know, things happen. And so those, yeah, I mean, I've accumulated so many injuries. I remember turf toe years ago. That was like, my entire body hurt from my toe.
I think it's like a rite of passage for you to have. Yeah. Like, especially the knees. I don't know why jujitsu is just, it tears up the knees for some
It
reason.
does. Well, and it's like, hey, I'm going to learn this takedown today. Okay, I'll just jam my knees into the ground and not take you down. So that feels very accomplished. And I think shoulders and knees
Yep.
are like the ones that take so much. But honestly, I try to put as much time into healing as I do into making my body work better, be stronger, faster. Because I think we forget that part a lot. And then the further we go in life, like I hear people say all the time, "Oh, I'm just old now," and I'm like, "No, you're older. You definitely got more mileage, like wear and tear." But I mean, I've seen 16-year-olds whose knees and shoulders hurt because you put more time into bashing into people and into the ground than you do into your repair. So I think, like, small plug, being a massage therapist, right? I learned the healing side as well. So the further I go in this, I do accumulate injuries, but I think, one, because you rack up so many, you're like, oh yeah, I did have that injury, I forgot. But I also worked back through them. And I try to work through them holistically so that, as long as you can avoid surgeries and such, you want to. Will it come eventually? Who knows? But yeah, definitely accumulated injuries that I don't even remember.
What kind of, speaking of healing, what do you do for your recovery and
I'm
healing?
on that CBD train, right? So I'm all over that. I take a lot of, let me bring it back. Daily, I take like Warrior CBD, like the tincture. It helps me sleep better. And good sleep means good healing, right? Also, I mean, I bathe in it as well, like the creams and the lotions. Stretching, like your basic yoga stretching. Rolling, as in like a roller. Massage, because I am a massage therapist. I know I have access to these beautiful beings, right? Chiropractor at least once a month, and I know it's just like, where do you have time for this? You make time. And what else? Movement, like animal flow, gymnastica natural, like things like that. One of my friends, Mina, is an instructor. You met Mina. She's an instructor and a practitioner of movement. So, like, I'm always like, hey, I've used every massage technique, every type of release. Like, tell me what's going on with this. And, like, she'll help me through that movement. And when you move better, you don't injure yourself as much, as well as, like, your body understands positions differently. And, jujitsu is like forced yoga, like forced acro violent yoga, or whatever you want to call it. So learning to put your body in those positions and breathe in those positions when nobody is putting impact on you helps you when you're actually feeling that impact, because you understand when it's like time to let go of that and when you can really hold it and be stronger in it. So I think it's cupping. Yeah, you opened up a can here. So.
No, this is good because I think a lot of people don't put an emphasis on that, and I'm a big believer in the recovery as well.
Yeah.
So it's good for people to hear what athletes like yourself are doing.
Cold dips, if you have access to, like, I worked at a cryo freeze place at one point and was so spoiled, miss you guys. And now if I have access, like, to someone's pool, even during the winter, I'm like, can I take like 2 minutes? Is this weird? Like, I know it's the middle of December, but my body will feel good. So a lot of hot and cold therapies, just anything you can implement, like add to your training once a week. Just start with one thing, like, I'm going to stretch for 5 minutes today. You will be surprised. You're like, whoa, like, I feel so different. Why do I not do this all the time? And then you forget and you go right back to something else. And then the more you start, if you'll just take one thing at a time, and I think healing for everybody is different. So you'll try these different modalities and see which one, like, really affects you and helps you feel better. And then just start putting it into your training. Maybe, if it's like chiro and massage or like cupping, I know Not everybody can afford that all the time. Treat yourself, okay? Every now and then, just like go allow yourself to heal, because you spend money on your gym membership, you spend money on having a instructor teach you how to lift weights. It's like spend money on your health as well, because longevity is like what you really want in jiu-jitsu, because the more you fall in love with it, the more you're going to want to do it. And if you don't pay attention to repairing, it's you almost stop enjoying your journey. So yeah, find any of those. I try all of them, and then I keep the ones I want, and occasionally we'll try new things as well.
What about for, one of the questions we got is, what about for kids? Do you think that recovery is something that kids should be focusing on, or a parent should be like assisting them in the recovery as well? What are
I
your
like that
thoughts on that?
question a lot. Yes. So I teach a kids class, and honestly, the first like 10 minutes of kids class, I stretch with them, because I think if we would build that when we're younger, it wouldn't be such a chore or something that we're like, oh yeah, I should do that. Oh yeah, I should do that. It would just be what we do, and it would be a part of it. So very lightly, because they're developing still. So very lightly teaching them how to roll out, honestly, and then teaching them like some basic yoga stretches. I know there's many types of stretching. I just really think yoga is so good for jiu-jitsu, and just life. So if you would, yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great. I know chiropractors, and as a massage therapist, I've worked with kids. But you just go a little lighter with them, because they don't need as an extensive recovery, depending on what that child has going on in life, because there are some physical ails and situations with some kids. So yeah, I think having I guess not really rehabilitation, it would prevent a rehabilitation program for that kid later in life. And it's like any type of study, like you're helping them build that learning of how to really be self-sufficient. Mm-hmm. I love doctors, but I think we rely on them too much for things that we could do for ourselves.
Yeah.
And then have them when we really like, hey, like your learning is beyond what I know here. So yeah, I think that's a great question. Who asked that? Good job.
Yeah, and I think I agree. I think we focus a lot on fixing situations after they're a problem, as opposed to the preventative aspect of it, and that's kind of a product of our culture, right?
Yeah,
And our
it's
society.
a learned habit.
It is, yeah. But so I'm going to close out with one last question. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten, and something that you'd like to pass on to your students or anybody listening today?
Have fun. Have fun. Everything you're doing, just have fun. And on the days that you're not having fun, understand that it's a part of the process. It's one step to you having more fun, because if you're not having fun, it's probably because you're being challenged in a way that you're not used to, or you've come up on either like a technique or a training partner that like, you didn't understand, or you just felt overwhelmed or smashed, or whatever the situation. Have those days, cry in your car. It's a cool place. Nobody can see you. Cry to your friends, and then laugh so you're doing really good. And just enjoy. I know it's so cliche, right? Enjoy the journey, but cliches come from a very real place. Make sure you're at a school that you really feel like you are progressing and benefiting. Now, in that sense, that doesn't mean, oh, I had a bad day or even a bad week, like this school's horrible. Like, really pay attention to what the situations are that you're enjoying your journey or not. Train at a place you love to train with. Find training partners that when you come there, I mean, it's therapy, guys. Like, you're having fun, you're getting better, you're going further. Surround yourself with people who have some of the same kind of like, not even goals, but ideas, right? About where they're going with jiu-jitsu. And that's not even saying like, you want to be a world champion? Honestly, like, you don't have to be surrounded by world champions to be a world champion. My coaches told me that. Marcelo has said that. And it's like, it's so true. but make sure you're in a place where you're having fun, because you're in for the long run, guys. Like, once you know, you can never go back. So that I think that would be my piece of advice. Every day there's some new piece of advice, right? And like people are like, you said this, and I'm like, oh, did I say that? Like, I should remember what I'm saying, but just have fun. I can't express that enough. Like, the further I go in this journey, like, there are serious days, but even on those serious days and those hard days, at least once or twice, I'm laughing either at myself, the situation, or the people around me, because jiu-jitsu is just beautiful. So enjoy your journey. Make sure you're getting out of it what you want. And honestly, don't try to take on the next 10 years today. Just take on today. And some days that can be like, don't even think about what's going to happen when you get to the gym. Just get in your car and get there. Everything else will handle itself once you're there. I guarantee it. So have fun, guys, and enjoy your journey. So cliche, I know.
No, but it's true.
It is. I mean, and share that love with others. You know, it's meant for us, and not everybody wants to be a part of it, but share that love with others, because I just can't express, like, it's such a good feeling to do it for yourself, and some days you need that more than the other. But it is, I mean, my heart just swells when I see someone else get excited with it, and I'm like, oh, this is why we do this. Like, we'll just share it with everybody. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's my advice.
No, that was beautiful. That was so perfect. Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you guys for everything you do, because you spread that love, you know.
No, but thank you for being a part of it. You know, if it wasn't for women like yourself that are willing to share it, you know, I'd just be sitting here talking to nobody. You know, I think they get sick of talking to me all the time, listening to me. So thank you for being a part of it and for your contribution, because I think it's all of us. That's what it is. It's all of us spreading it, whether it be in our academies, whether it be online, whether it be coming to these events, putting on these events, teaching at these events. You know, it's all of us that make this what it is. It's not just one person. It's not just one organization. It's everybody. It's as a whole.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So
and
thank
intentions, you. Right?
Exactly. So thank you for spreading that love everywhere you go.
Yeah. Thank you for accepting it.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. It was an awesome conversation. Guys. And I look forward to doing some stuff with you soon. So I will be reaching out. And
I have a gym. You should come do a seminar or something.
I'm down. I'm ready to get back in business. Let's do it.
And if I may, like, guys, girls, peoples, reach out to me anytime. If I didn't respond to your message, it's probably because it's in the creepy box, and I'll check it. I'll check that message box later. But please reach out if you have questions. I mean, if it weren't for people reaching out and answering questions for me, even when I was probably annoying them, like, where would we even be, and what would be the point of it? So yeah, I know Shama is the same way. Like, never hold inside something you really want to know the answer to. Mm-hmm. And thanks to social media, we have access to everybody, or mostly everybody. So yeah, guys, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Because I am here, and this is what we are here for. So
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are never alone, even though it may feel like we're alone, especially during times like this. We are never alone, because there's a big, huge community out there, even if you are the only female in your academy. And yes. You're not.
Which will make you stronger, by the way. Just saying.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for being on today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Have a good evening, guys.